The Chaos Dwarves have landed. Finally, we can all enjoy the favoured sons of Ashut, the stalwart, heavily armed and armoured elite dwarven infantry, paired with the rampaging monsters, death trains, and hordes of indentured goblins. What's not to love? With them, however, there has come some controversy. A few weeks ago, I had somewhat accurately predicted that there may be fallout for this DLC in a video titled "The Problem with the Chaos Dwarves." The link to that will be in the description below. Today on this video, however, I will be giving an unfettered review of the recently launched content. Now that I've spent most of the weekend playing as Astragath Ironhand, defiling the lands and bringing orcs, Northmen and Skaven to heal, I feel I can offer guidance to all Total War players on whether they should hand over yet more money to Creative Assembly. My name is Blake and I bid you my fondest welcome to Blake's Takes, where today I'll be delivering my take on my first impressions of the Forge of the Chaos Dwarves. Are my takes hot or not? Let me know in the comments below. If you're new here, please like and subscribe, it really helps the channel out. This video will be split into 3 parts: what I've enjoyed, what I haven't enjoyed so much, and then we'll round off the video with another highly coveted take. In the description below will be timestamps if you want to skip ahead to any of these parts. Let's dive into the video. What I have enjoyed is the faction is extremely thematic. You really do feel like Saruman, burning the world in the fires of industry, watching your corruption slowly spread as you erect factories to produce armaments for your mighty war machine. The resource management is also really good. Making sure you have enough labour to maximise your efficiency is straightforward enough to manage. If this is not sitting at 100%, then you have an issue. It also feels nice being able to rush out buildings, expending the lives of your slaves. It really incentivises you to gobble up territories and raid and sack everything you can to fuel your dark war machine. You will drive the machine of war with the sword and the spear and the iron fist of the hobgoblin. Oh, they're a bit shit actually. CA has harked back to the days of Medieval 2. You can change your settlement buildings as determined by your need. You will erect outposts for taking slaves and building mine shafts for them to work in, and then factories for your industrial heartlands. Armament production and smelting will primarily take place there. It really does feel like a new power is rising, especially when you construct a giant Orthankian tower as the main settlement building. These towers may be pricey and cost a lot of raw materials to build, but you don't want to miss out on the benefits they unlock, such as a higher Lord recruit rank and campaign movement range to chase any pesky invaders. The models are beautifully made, with a lot of care and attention to detail put into them. There is an exquisite balance between the earlier edition Babylonian couture and the industrial steampunk style armaments found in later editions. The sound design has also been appropriately excellent, from the small arms fire of the blunderbusses. To the insane and terrifying power of the Dreadquake mortar.
The winds are ours! Our magic is strong!
The weapons feel weighty and imbued with the dark industrial might that they should be. We'll start off with my minor complaints. The Kadai Destroyer is lackluster to say the least, not only for the clipping issue at the back, which somehow made it into the game, but for the fact that it also appears to die very quickly too. In this video, not only did it lose to pretty measly tier 1 infantry, it appears that the attack where it shoots fireballs out doesn't appear to hit anything in certain situations. As there appears to be a bit of distance where it shoots these fireballs, it seems to be pot luck on whether it hits anything at all. I think this particular issue needs to be reviewed, and maybe they need to buff its armor value or give it a shield value. It's meant to be a big endgame threat monster made of metal and demons, and I feel it really underperforms in that role. I noticed that they'd put in new voice lines for the hobgoblins. They sound excellent. The language they're speaking sounds appropriately dark and evil.
Terrier to slug, dreng! Sneakers, upgrew! Boys, upgrew! Boys, upgrew!
What I found very odd, though, was they didn't put in new voice lines for your labourer units. It felt a bit jarring hearing the orc labourers have the exact same voice lines as the orc boys, particularly when they're shouting things like, "The War is here." No, the War is not here. I am fighting the War. You're part of a bedraggled mob of pickaxe-wielding slaves. When you finish taking arrows for me, you'll be back down the mine shaft.
Chopper's ready! Do this!
My point is, they shouldn't be that excited to be there. I appreciate they are orcs, but it kind of dispels the immersion somewhat. I think they missed a bit of an opportunity here to give them some identity, particularly as they've added voice lines to all the hobgoblins. I'm hoping that in future they'll add something similar to the Heretic in Dawn of War 1.
Whatever you desire. Anything for the great powers. My life is forfeit.
Range units, I find, still sometimes struggle. I don't know what it is, but I often find my artillery not shooting, or my blunderbusses not bothering either. It happens relatively infrequently, but it happens enough to be irritating, often in extremely important battles, when I have been extremely thorough in making sure that they don't have any line of sight issues. What is also quite frustrating is the single piece artillery which the Chaos Dwarves employ. Although they are devastating from range, when they get tied up in melee, they will tend to do a 180-degree turn, which will prevent them from firing further as they're facing the wrong way. Now, this isn't normally an issue as your artillery isn't up front, but when you're fighting the Skaven and they have dropped the Menace below on you, you'll find that your artillery pieces are spinning around like a ballerina on crack cocaine. Now onto the big complaints. The AI really drains the fun out of this game for me. They are still absolute cowards and pose no real threat to you, just minor inconveniences. They'll swing round from out of nowhere and attack a city that's totally undefended. You can't be everywhere at once, and all of your neighbours hate you. So good luck trying to defend against it. The AI issue where they travel huge distances across other factions' territory to occupy your tier 1 settlement is still very much in the game. I'm hoping they sort it out in future patches as it's become quite desperate. I just wish they'd go to a settlement actually worth taking, because chances are there'd be some kind of garrison to fight them off with. When they hit these level 1 settlements, there's nothing you can do. Your garrisons are all hot garbage outside of the towers, or a tier 3 factory with walls. Buffer states. This is a historical concept, but having other nations in the way of your enemies seems to have no bearing on whether they'll march across them. Friendly, neutral, hostile, at war with them, the AI doesn't care. They will march straight across their territory to come straight to you. They need to program the AI to have a bit more respect for other AI's borders when attacking. There's been a few times when I've had the AI trample through someone else's turf to occupy a settlement of mine, and I wouldn't mind if it happened occasionally, but it happens so regularly that it makes the sovereignty of other states in this game a bit of a joke. Sieges still suck. Badly. Milk and Cookies Total War recently made a video on it. I'll put a link to that in the description below. He goes into a lot of detail about his issues. For example, the only time the enemy will fight a siege is if it's a decisive victory, and how they can just capture the majority of victory points for the win. These are issues for sure, but unfortunately they're far from the only ones. I'll probably be making a video detailing all the issues I have with sieges in the future, but I'll leave this point here, as it is indeed a huge problem, but not the focus of this video. It's time for us to address the elephant in the room, and that is the price.
Money, 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 num, num, num.
Less legendary lords and the priciest DLC so far, at nearly 40% the cost of the base game. I think the Chaos Dwarves were a good opportunity to generate some goodwill from the beleaguered Total War community. Instead, they upped the prices and removed a legendary lord, which is currently causing issues on at least the Steam reviews, where the Forge of the Chaos Dwarves currently sits at mixed. In conclusion, can I recommend picking up this DLC? It's not a simple yes or no, unfortunately. If you love the Total War Warhammer formula as I do, I can safely say you'll enjoy this thematic expansion. They're a well-implemented race, and I personally have really enjoyed my time with them thus far. If, unfortunately, you're not enjoying Creative Assembly's current offering, then I would say the core issues such as sieges and wonky AI are still very much present in the game. When also picking up a DLC of this price, I would expect a level of polish which isn't quite there. So I would say wait for a sale or until fixes have been implemented which cause your grievances with the franchise to diminish. I will also state, for the record, that I am not happy with the price of the product, and I do feel it is expensive for what you're getting. I will leave you all with my final take on the situation today. When Warhammer 2 was out and the DLCs were being released, I used to think friends of mine were foolish for not playing it. It was a guaranteed fun time, with challenging campaigns, but I cannot in good conscience recommend Warhammer 3 to my friends in the state it currently finds itself in. Even on the hardest difficulties, I find no threats, just inconveniences. Creative Assembly needs to step up its game with the AI and do a complete rework of sieges before I can recommend this game to passers-by. If CA can address these issues in good time, I'm confident that Warhammer 3 will become far more successful than it currently is, and appeal to a broader demographic than people like me. That's all I have time for today, folks. Do you agree with my take on the Chaos Dwarves? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. It really helps the channel out. Thank you for watching.